Hey, welcome to another Valley Forged. So, you need a 40-watt laser, but you got a budget. This might be the laser for you. Let's check it out. I've got a longer Ray5 40-watt laser. And, I've been a fan of longer for a long time. They just make good stuff, right? My longer lasers have just never broken, and that is something to be said. I don't see a lot of complaints online about longer laser, so I've always kept in touch with them, but they haven't come out with a lot of new stuff. So I just been kind of like, hey, whenever they come out with something, I'd love to review it. And now that Christmas is coming up soon, I'm starting to review all the lasers that I want you to have a choice out there, right? For each level, and say, okay, this is my budget. This is what I can do. Well, Longer came out with a 40 watt that fits on the Ray5 platform, which is the budget platform. I had a Ray5 20 watt and it was so amazing. It was one of the first 20 watt lasers to come out. There it is. Hey. And, I used it for my business. I just ripped through stuff. I may have some old video or old photos or something to show you. I mean, this was my laser. I was so happy. And it just worked. But, you go with that old 20 watt, if you went over like 6,000 millimeters per minute, you were going to start getting squiggly lines. It just wasn't made for mass production at speed, but it was a tank. And I appreciated that, and it was at a good price. Now the 40 watt, they've made some upgrades. It's much more stable. You've got the really nice linear bearing going across the top. More stability all the way around. But is it perfect? No, and we'll get into that here in a little bit. But they have made a ton of improvement, and basically what you're looking at here is price compared to anything else. Currently, and there's a link below. I suggest you look at that because the prices change all the time for these sorts of things. I believe I have a discount link down there. So, right now it's like $800. They just launched it. Maybe with my discount, we get a little bit better than that. So you just add it all together compared to the other videos that the other lasers that I've reviewed here lately, and kind of weigh it and say, okay, is this worth it? And does it even make sense for me? Because for some people, this isn't even going to make sense. And I will get into the reasons here shortly. Now, first of all, you're going to see it's not an all-in-one. So you are going to have to add an enclosure. You are going to have to add a honeycomb bed, and you are going to have to add some sort of exhaust, unless it comes with your enclosure. These things aren't terribly expensive, especially now, but we're going to add it up. And then at the end, we'll see, hey, why or why not you should buy this. And that's why I really wouldn't recommend it for everybody. Straight off the bat, this is not your high performance 40 watt laser compared to, some of the other ones that I reviewed lately. Right? That all-in-one gives you some benefits, but it's also quite a bit more expensive. I mean, I think that your best competitor to this is going to be, even with a discount on my links, probably $1,200, $1,300. So if you can say go all in, you've got to get this laser for $800. Say you get a discount, $750 to $800. You got to get an enclosure, which is going to be $50 to $100. You got to get a honeycomb bed. I recommend the 500 by 500 millimeter one. Fits perfect. It's the one I'm using now. Oh, there's the laser. I'm sure I've shown you pictures already. It's pretty basic and simple. But you add all that together, it already has the air assist, which obviously you just need with a 40 watt laser. Don't even think about not using air assist, unless you're engraving, of course, but to cut it out, it's just better in every way, cuts better, less fire, just always get air assist. So really you can get all in for this thing around $900 to $950, which all right, you're going to save like $200 to $300, maybe $400 over a similar all-in-one machine. So look at all of them. Balance this out. See what makes sense for you. Things that this laser do not have. Let me go through this at first. You've got to put this together, right? So that's already one thing, over having an all-in-one, that you do have to do some assembly. And hey, you put your own belts on. And if you see this, I'll throw up a picture. When I first put it together, one of my belts was a bit loose. And so I was getting squiggly circles. But then once, I adjusted it, it started getting better. And now I've got it down. But it was something that I needed to do that you generally don't need to do with an all-in-one. Power-wise, well, between the 40 watt and the 48 watt, I'm going to put the 40 watt on top, and you can see there is a huge difference in the depth. If you look at the depth of it, you can see there's quite a huge difference between the 40 and the 48 watt. Maybe that makes sense, but they both did a good job. And cut it out perfectly. There wasn't any issues there. Well, would I want to go more than, say, 15,000 millimeters per minute with this laser? I probably wouldn't. It says it goes up to 24,000 millimeters per minute. It's not going to be quite as stable as an all-in-one or some of the other lasers, even the B1 from Longer. You probably should check that one out as well. I love that laser. But just figure, hey, it's cheaper. It's not going to be as robust in a lot of ways. Some of the other negatives that I feel about it, it's hard to see. You can't remove the cover. So even if you have say, laser enclosure that has glass or something to keep your eyes from being destroyed, there's no way to take the cover off of the actual laser, so it's kind of hard to see where you're framing and things like that, which I like to be able to take that cover off. The fan is on all the time. Now it does have, you can turn on and off the air from Lightburn, which is super cool. That is a huge upgrade, but the fact that the fan stays on all the time, some people, that's super annoying. It doesn't have the worst sounding fan, but just having it on all the time, to me, is annoying unless you want to turn on and off the laser. Oh yeah, I got to remind you, like and subscribe if you're into lasers like I am, and we'll move on from there. So what is my final conclusion on the Longer Ray5 40 watt? If you have more money, if you can afford to buy a B1 or a more expensive laser, an all-in-one, I would suggest doing that. There just are better lasers on the market. I think Longer knows that. They even make one. But for the price, I don't think you can do better. If you need 40 watt, you're going to be cutting 1/4 inch material quite often. And because that's really the benefit, is you're able to cut 1/4 inch in one pass and not really have to deal with that. It can't just be because of speed, because this isn't going to be the most stable laser at high speeds, I don't think. So really the benefit is price, and that you are able to, for that price, you're able to cut 1/4 inch, probably less expensively than you can any other way. If you want to do your own assembly and say, hey, this, I'm teaching my kids or whatever, or I just like to build things, that could be a benefit. And you're like, hey, I could save $100 or $200 by doing this myself, and the limitations of the machine, then this is probably a good one for you. But again, I would say if you can save up and buy one of the all-in-one machines or one of the upgraded unibody type machines, I think it's probably better for most people. I'm sure Longer isn't going to be happy with me for saying that, but it's just the way that I feel. But I do love Longer as a company. I think they make great products, and that's why I'm still doing videos for them. That's why I'm still recommending them. And there ain't too many of them left anymore, that I can truly recommend and truly be happy recommending. So check out the Longer laser below, and I will get back to making stuff, which you all love, and I'll see you in the next one. Love y'all.